Good day, ma'am. I am Cindy B. Abjelina from BSHM 3A, and I am here to present to you my report about the tourism public sector in Chapter 6. So, in the next slide, let us begin the Department of Tourism. The Department of Tourism was created by virtue of Presidential Decree Number 189. It is the primary policymaking, planning, programming, coordinating, and administrative entity of the executive branch of government in the development of the tourism industry, both domestic and international. So, what is the main function of the Department of Tourism? So the main function of the Department of Tourism is to promote, to develop the tourism in a country or a region. This includes creating policies and programs that supports the growth of the tourism industry, as well as marketing the country or the region to potential tourists. So additionally, the Department of Tourism may work to improve the quality of tourism experiences and infrastructure to ensure the safety and security of the tourist and facilitate partnerships between government and private sector utilities. Ultimately, the goal of the Department of Tourism is to boost economic development and job creation through the increased tourism activity. So on the next slide, we have here the Department of Transportation and Communication. So Department of Transportation and Communication is the primary policy, planning, programming, coordination, implementing, regulating, and administrative entity of the executive branch of the government in the promotion, development, and regulation of dependable coordinate networks of transportation and communication system, as well as in the fast, safe, efficient, and reliable postal transportation and communication services. So what is the relationship of the Department of Transportation and Communication in the Department of Tourism? So the Department of Transportation and Communication and the Department of Tourism are both agencies of the Philippine government, while the DOTC is primarily responsible for the development of transportation infrastructure and services around the country. The DOT is focused more on the common is more focused on the promotion of tourism in the Philippines. So however, these two departments often work together to enhance the travel industry in the country. For instance, the DOTC can ensure the transportation system efficiently and comfortably cater to travelers, while the DOT can recommend the tourist destinations and activities that can boost country's tourism. The DOT and the DOTC also collaborate to provide better security and safety measures for tourists during their travels around the country. Overall, the relationship between the DOT and the DOTC is complementary, as both work towards enhancing the travel industry and ultimately contributing the country's economic growth. On the next slide, we have here the Department of Trade and Industry. So under the Executive Order 133, which remains effective upon to the present time, the DTI serves as the primary coordinative, promotive, and facilitative arm for trade industry and investment of activities. So what is the relation of the DTI to the Department of Tourism? So both are departments under the Philippine government, while the DTI is primarily responsible for promoting and developing the country's trade, while the country's trade, industry, and investment. The DOT is tasked with developing and promoting the country's tourism industry. Despite having different mandates, the DTI and the DOT can work together to boost the country's overall economic growth. In fact, both departments collaborate on initiatives that aim to increase the competitiveness of local tourism products and services. Ultimately, the relationship between the DTI and the DOT underscores the importance of a holistic approach to economic development. So let's proceed to the next slide, which is the Department of Interior and Local Government. So the Department of Interior and Local Government promotes peace and order, ensures public safety, and strengthens local government capability to effectively deliver basic services to the citizenry. So what is the relation of the Department of Local Government, or the DILG, to the Department of Tourism? So as usual, they are both the agencies under the executive branch of the Philippine government, while the DILG's main mandate is to promote peace and order, ensures public safety, and strengthen local government units, and the DOT's core function is to promote the country as a tourist destination and help develop the tourism country. So despite having the different focuses, the two departments often work together in implementing programs and initiatives that aim to boost tourism while ensuring the safety and welfare of both foreign and local tourists in the country. So on the next slide, we have here the Department of Foreign Affairs. So the Department of Foreign Affairs is the prime agency responsible for the pursuit of the state's foreign policy. The DFA advises and assists the President in planning, coordinating, and evaluating the total national effort in the field of foreign affairs. One of the objectives of the Department of Foreign Affairs is to contribute to the enhancement of the national security and the protection of the territorial integrity and national sovereignty. Also, to participate in the national endeavor to sustain development and to enhance the Philippines' competitive edge in a global milieu. Also, to protect the rights and promote the welfare of Filipino overseas, to mobilize them as partners in the national development, to project a positive image of the Philippines, and to increase a international understanding of Philippine culture or for mutually beneficial relations with other countries, and to increase and maximize human, financial, technological, and other resources to optimize the performance of the department. So now let us proceed to the next slide, which is the Department of Public Works and Highways. So the Department of Public Works and Highways function as the engineering and construction arm of the government tasked to continuously develop its technology for the purpose of ensuring the safety of all infrastructure facilities and securing public works and highways the highest efficiency and quality in construction. So the DPWH is currently responsible for planning, design, construction, and maintenance of infrastructure, especially the national highways, flood control, and water resources development system and public works in accordance with the national development objectives. So the work of DPWH is very important, especially in providing land access to tourist destinations, sites, and service facilities. So on the next slide, we have here the DENR. The DENR is mandated to be the primary government agency responsible for the conservation, management, development, and proper use of the country's environment and natural resources, including those in reservations, watershed areas, and lands of the public domain, as well as the licensing and regulations of all natural resources utilizations. So based on the above mandate, the DENR envisions to pass on to Filipinos a renewed hope on people's ability to chart a new direction for the development and a legacy of a self-sustaining environment, mindful of people's rights to a life of dignity. So the DENR's mission is to be a dynamic force behind people's initiatives in the protection, conservation, development, and management of the environment through strategic alliances and partnerships, processes, relevant policies and programs, and appropriate information's technology towards the sustainable development. On the next slide, we have here the Department of Labor and Employment. So DOLE is the national government agency mandated to formulate policies, implement programs, and serve as the policy coordinating arm of the executive branch in the field of labor and employment. The DOLE promotes gainful employment opportunities and optimizes the development and utilization of the country's manpower resources. So the department is tasked with promoting gainful employment opportunities, developing human resources, protecting workers, promoting their welfare, and maintaining industrial peace. In essence, the department's vision looks towards a future where every Filipino worker enjoys dignified and productive employment, while its mandate covers a wide spectrum of responsibilities aimed to fostering a healthy and fair labor environment. So on the next slide, we have here the Philippine Tourism Authority. So pursuant to the Presidential Decree number 189, the Philippine Tourism Authority was created on 1973 together with the Department of Tourism. The authority was organized to implement the policies and programs of the Department of Tourism on project development, collect travel taxes, undertake development of tourist attractions, and among others. So here are the properties managed by the PTA. So first, we have here the tourist destinations. So tourist destinations oversees the development and management of various tourist destinations across the Philippines, including beaches, heritage sites, natural parks, and cultural attractions. Second one, we have here the tourism estates. So this involve in the planning and development of the tourism estates, which encompasses integrated tourism complexes featuring accommodations, leisure facilities, and other amenities. So next we have here the tourism enterprise zones. So this establishes tourism enterprise zones to promote investment and development in specific areas, providing incentives to business operating with these zones. So last one, we have here the tourism infrastructures. So PTA invests in tourism infrastructure projects such as airports, seaports, roads, and other facilities to improve accessibility and support tourism development. Next slide, we have here the National Historical Institute. So this undertakes research and publication of Philippine historical works and educational activities on historical events and personages. So restoration, preservation, and conservation of movable and immovable objects of historical value, and implementation of the National Historic Act of the Philippines, PD 260 and PD 1505, administration of the historic sites, infrastructures, and memorabilia of national heroes, and implementations of Republic Act 8491, or the flag and heraldic code of the Philippines. So National Historical Institute continues to be the lead government agency where matters of history and culture are concerned. It continues to conceive programs and projects for the public's appreciation of history, educating the Filipino masses on the lessons of the past, and perpetuating the memory of our illustrious heroes. So aside from commemorating historical events and personages, conducting research, and publishing scholarly works, the Institute also maintains historical sites all over the country and is engaged in the preservation of these sites as well as the relics and memorabilia found in the places. So on the next slide, we have here the Intramuros Administration. So under the Presidential Decree number 1616, Intramuros Administration is responsible for the orderly restoration and development of Intramuros as a monument to the Hispanic period in the Philippine history. So the mission of IA is to protect and conserve the historical and cultural value and significance of Intramuros while advancing and guiding urban development within and contributing to the strengthening of the Filipinos' national identity and sense of belonging and pride. And I guess that is all the departments that is in the tourism public sector. And again, I am Cindy B. Abjelina. Thank you.